Raising kids in this climate has definitely been tough.
My kids see what's going on around them. They're old enough.
The biggest threat to our values right now is gender confusion, this pro-death culture that we live in.
The biggest threat to family values is that families don't have a seat at the table.
I went to a public university here in California, and I oftentimes had to choose my grade over my political views, and it almost made you feel like you were alone.
We've lost our way with what's right and wrong.
I first learned about the American Council through close friends that were a part of it. They were either supporters or people that were involved directly with the American Council. And so I had a firsthand experience seeing what impact the council has on local government and people in our community.
Local politics are so important for us because it matters who's elected. And we saw this during 2020 and 2021 with the COVID lockdown. Here in Placer County, we did not experience what many of the other, liberal counties experienced. We came to understand how important it was who's on the county board of supervisors, who's on the city council.
You need something to ground you back into your original Christian beliefs and values. And American Council does that.
Because of my involvement with American Council, it has equipped me with many tools to help guide my children in the climate that we live in today.
American Council is definitely on the forefront of that battle with the progressive agenda. They are really good at giving out educational materials.
The American Council is essentially the champion of the family. They are looking out for all of the legislation, informing families who don't have time to read 300 pages of legislation and attend a legislative conference. I, as an individual, can go right on the website, read about an issue, decide for myself if I'd like to support it or oppose it or do nothing. And with not more than 3 clicks, I've engaged my local legislator or my local congressman, and I've voiced my opinion on a very important issue. And now I've become part of a collective voice in shaping that legislation and shaping that opinion.
The American Council's track record is amazing. I mean, they have supported candidates that have had a 75 to 80% success rate here in California, one of the most liberal states in the nation. With the American Council and what they've done, the possibility of flipping California now exists.
I first heard about the American Council when I was sitting in a church service, and it was just one of their video announcements for a class that Tanner was putting on, We the People. From the American Council, I believe I've taken 3 so far, 2 of Tanner's civics classes, and then one of his shorter summer classes on Israel. Every time I take a class with Tanner, it just more reaffirms that I chose right in my head, and that these are the things that I believe in and I want to fight for, and that I know that there's other people out there, even though we're in the middle of California, that want those values too.
I attended a civics class. I wanted to learn what the importance of government through a biblical lens. And after the very first class, I went to Tanner and I asked, how can I get more involved?
When I walked away from the civics courses that I took with Tanner, I felt much more informed. While I'd had civics courses, I'd been so far removed from them that the refresher was like learning it again and then learning it at a deeper level, one that was more specific to the times that we're in now.
Local is important because it reflects you, your family, and your community. If you're not getting involved, then you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're almost ensuring that the person you don't support is being elected.
I think a lot of Christian people that are really trying to stay in touch and tune with what's going on feel like they need to back up, feel like they need to apologize almost for their beliefs and faith. And I think that's a huge problem.
What I've seen, sadly, is so many Christians that sit on the sidelines and they don't engage. I believe that the American Council can help bring together Catholics, Protestants, Orthodox, people of the Christian faith, where we can come together, we can unite around our biblical values. We need fighters now more than ever We need people on the front lines. We need warriors that are willing to do something. And so the American Council gives me hope because it allowed my wife and I to get involved.
If you're hearing about American Council for the first time and you're wondering if this is something you can get involved with, I would say what it did for me is it'll bring you back to what you believe in. It'll bring you back to how to say it, how to verbalize it.
It's a really good way to get connected with other like-minded folks and puts you into that space of more collaborative effort.
For anyone who hasn't heard of the American Council, give an ear. The American Council allows everyone to understand the political ramifications of conversations that are happening within various legislative bodies within the world, how that's going to impact us as individuals and us as a church.
I'm excited about the next 5 years for the American Council because I look at what they did in the first 5 years and it blows me away.
What the American Council, I think, is truly trying to bring back is we need to get back to the fundamentals. We need to get back to the basics of a core Christian faith that we instill in our children and instill in our families. Those families will take care of each other, and ultimately a state and a nation that will have each other's backs.